continually as a way of expanding the budget is not necessarily a good idea. We can derive innovative ways of deriving additional revenue only if the government decides to man up to the challenges. When I supported the current president, I was cognizant of his age and his experience, and I really thought that he still has to prove that he has the capacity to develop the spine to put in place some mechanisms that will ultimately increase the revenue base of our country. For example, the forest sector. The forest sector is largely underperforming because the government does not have a policy of its own to drive that sector. International partners are sitting right there at FDA determining what the country does with its forest sector, restraining the capacity of the government to generate revenue. Just a few years ago, when Mr. Tito governed this country, and he had all his SSAs, but let's dwell on the positive side of it. Let's dwell on the positive side of it. We didn't have electricity in this country, but we're producing plywood in your county, Basso. We're producing plywood in Maryland. We're producing plywood in River D. The country was industrializing, and we were generating money from export. 20 years on, we have electricity, and we are importing plywood. We have one of the largest rainforests in West Africa. The spine, the president has to develop the spine, the capacity to just say, no, well, how come people who are exporting logs are investors? Are investors there? If that's to export logs, then Liberians should do it. The reason why we want investors to come in the logging industry is to take the logging industry to another level where we generate additional revenue that will give our currency value, that will provide jobs, that will bring in serious money in the country. For 20 years, even the port of Harper has not been dredged. It will impact the revenue of our country. If we are able to just develop the spine and say over the next 5 years, nobody who's involved in logging in this country should just carry logs. Let it industrialize. Let them get at least a component. It happened before when we didn't have electricity, it can happen. But the spine, the foresight, we don't have it. Let's come to the iron ore sector. From time immemorial, the same people who control the sector around the continent come and say this is the best international practice. They give us 3%, 2%. The leaders cannot develop the spine to say, look, we're not going to accept 3%, 4%. The spine, they should develop the spine that you talked about the last time. And in this case, President Parker has to develop it. Why you better than what? Sanction? We will not develop a country by depending on aid. Small money. I hear the minister talking about, and I understand his orientation here and Amara. They've been around the USAID, IMF, World Bank. Look around us. People who go to take the country from one level to another level are people who are brave and people who are innovative, not people who are going to depend on this thing. Oh, how much you will get from additional taxes? Go to your SOE. Oh, I mean, the last time you gave 500,000 for another 100,000. That's a joke. That's a joke. We're joking.
But do you think they don't know the right thing to do?
Look at the iron ore sector. To just determine that this rail was put here by the Liberian government. This rail was put here by the Liberian government. Mito cannot own it. Other people must use it to generate protection. Other people must generate revenue from it. We are not able to develop the spine to do it in 20 years. What are you talking about here? Oh, my man. The second all these concessions, ratify all the concessions. The board said ratify all the concessions. In the national community, you were in the house, you ratify all the concessions.
happening. We will continue being poor.
And be begging.
That's the kind of country we have to have in that country. That will be running.
What if I can support? Who is going to support? What if I mean?
Sarah, you're fine. Sarah, you are fine 2 times. All right.
Okay.
Sarah, you're fine 3 times. All right. 3 times. $300 total.
I will collect the file. I'll collect the file.
Pay the salary.
I'll collect it from him. Yeah. So in the iron ore area,
Sarah, you are fine.
they come and say,
Collect it from him. Sarah, second fine.
I'm the collector. I'll collect it from him. Yeah. So in the iron ore sector where we are supposed to generate millions, if not billions, they bring to us the template that this is international best practice. Go to Guinea. But are you people carrying the template to Guinea? Go to Ghana, but you people carry it there. You people are the same people who derive the template. You need leaders who will say, you know what happened? For our resources, this is what we desire. To take the country to another level. If we can make a simple decision as to the country reclaiming the rail, where are we going? Then you talk about, you see, and then they get vexed. They get vexed with President Trump. He's doing what the Americans desire of him. He decided, you know what happened? We're not in any climate business. We got oil here, we mine it. It affects the climate, our people be satisfied, that's not our responsibility. In Nigeria, we say, the people say we can test our forest. The people live in the forest in abject poverty, beneath the humanity line. And they will tell who will give you 3 million. They're giving $500 billion to people in aid. They gave us 3 million, 4 million. We say, oh, the people took the 10 million. Are we joking? But God has given us everything. Why we lack his leadership and spine to move the country forward? Why we lack his leadership? Yeah, on a serious note, although, so Sarah Bani, yeah. Let me come up. We talk about,
I didn't answer the buying question.
oh yeah.
I agree, all the good points are also tied into our oversight.
Revenue, okay. No, but no, this one
tied into our oversight.
no, this one our oversight. They want is policy on the part of the executive. We cannot develop the policy.
So we're driving the policy. We're driving it. We have the oversight to make sure.
I will agree with you if you say there will be no ratification that comes here without us having this in it. Then you.
That's what I said to the president, Mr. President. For me,
Sorry, is this
I'm not United Party,
Liliana Buzz house?
right? But this government, as long as I'm a local man, I'm from local country, and I'm a citizen, and I'm part of this government, I'd like for the record to state here, I support this government 100%. I support the president and his agenda. So someone was saying, Thomas Fire we saw a few months ago, keep fire, this is the keep fire. So let the message go, Lofa is one Lofa now. We're moving in one direction. We are moving in one direction, except someone want to convince me why we should not move in one direction. Because I was under the water. Have to do with Unity Party, it doesn't have to do with any affiliate. As a matter of fact, I still condemn the two base political parties. Because we who are presently seditious, we just fail the Liberian people. I remember
I want you to remember when George Weah was elected, all 14 counties voted for him. 14. The only one that did not vote for him was Lofa, because Waikara came from there. But this election that CDC lost, how can you put an old man and a young man together, and the old man who can barely walk defeat a young energetic man? There must be a reason. So the Liberian people
may a commitment of 50 days of sin we did not provide it. I come back to say to you people, God is a God that never fails. You doubted me or come here, but I'm grateful that God was able to use me as a tool to defeat not only you, but those that you use to campaign against us. Man plan is different from God's plan. Your plan was the 50 days of sin did not come. It's the end. You forgot the business money that was given to by me. You forgot when I took you to Overcast that provides $600 for this church. You forgot when we visited you up, the 25,000 the David Smith gave. You forgot about it only because of 50 days of Smith. But I'm grateful to God that God allowed me to do it fulfill my promise. Sometimes we make promises. It is difficult to fulfill because life as a whole has challenges. I pass by to let you know, if someone promised you and not being able to fulfill their promise, pray for that person. God will enable them to fulfill their promise. But it is not because of the failure of the person to fulfill the promise, then you turn against the person become an enemy. We were all here. The person you are campaigning for because of 50 days of cement, they were in 1,000 naira for one were in more than 10,000 plus votes. That is the wonder of God. That is the wonder of God. To do God's work, it is not by an instant. It is a process. That's why I said to you, sometimes you wonder because it is challenging to leave from a refugee camp and come to minister the word of God. I know it's a process some people are still thinking about. Some of us, 1999, Grace Baptist, from there to the become a lawmaker, it is God's word. That's why I said to you, always let your word prevail in my life, not my word. Because sometimes if we want our word to prevail, Joshua Solomon has said to me, whenever you want your word to prevail over God's word, God will allow your word to prevail over his word. But at the end, it will be bitter. At the end, you'll regret it. Let God's word prevail in your life. If you want to fight God, fine. He might give you the victory that you want. But at the end of the day, you'll regret even the victory. You want money. Money is in your pocket. But you can't get used for the money. Every time money can get disappear. Problems upon problems, it comes along the way. It is good for us to be patient as Christians. It is not about the 50 days of sin. There's a saying that says, no matter how long, but one day you have to believe it will come. And this is an individual that you have dealt with before. This is an individual who has made impact before. Why will you doubt them this time around for 50 days of sin? All of the beautiful plans and discussions, you drove it all only because of 50 days. But I'm happy to say to you, Christian brothers and sisters, we are happy that God was able to help us to fulfill our promise. So out there's a paper that contains the 50 days. Maybe when the rain ceases, you will tell the team there, where do they put it? Let us continue to worship God. Let us continue to serve God, and his name will be glorified. We We are not doing these things to have multiple to do or more money. No, we are doing it because we feel that the church is the best place to give. If you have to improve His word, you will also have to improve your situation. We hope and pray that we'll have the opportunity to do a little much more. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I be this one don't die. Ha. Mama, you go try wake up. Oh. You go try wake. Eh?
And more
Hello. Good evening to you all. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Nightly Exchange. Sorry for the delay. Like I always say, we'll continue to apologize until we get it right. It's transition period, and we'll still have some of us still having a hard time with the time. But if you're watching and if you're out there listening to us, we say thank you. I know it's late in Liberia, and so if you're still up, we appreciate you. I promise you, we'll get the time straight. We're still trying to transition, and so we're always late, and we'll continue to apologize till we all get it right. So welcome, and you. This is the Nightly Exchange. You can find us on Liberia Watch News on YouTube and Facebook. When you please subscribe to our to our YouTube, and share the show. And this is an independent platform. You can anyone from any party be free, feel free to come on and talk about Liberia, and sometimes propagate your party message when we reach to that point. And when we're talking about Liberia, all of our business, it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you're Seditian or UPIS or ANC or whatever party, come on, or independent like me, but I support a side. Come on and let's talk about Liberia. Liberia is all of our business. It's not one person, business to talk. We always say that Liberia is all we have. That's what I mean. That's the slogan that everybody always say that we cannot. Liberia is the place that we cannot be deported from. Even though some of us are not in Liberia, but we're always, wishing and praying that things get better, that we'll go back home. So here we talk about the issues, politics, social issues. Everything is, issue that are affecting our people in the country. Everything is on the table to discuss. Come on, and if you want to discuss something, you have a topic that you want us to discuss, and you have something that is going on in your community that you want to showcase to your fellow Liberians or the government, please do come on. This is your show, and let's discuss Liberia. Here, we're not, well, I'm not a journalist, so I'm not on a journalism 101 here, but we try to be professional and discuss the issue. Sometimes it gets hot, gets heated, people defending their sides. And that's the beauty of it, right? Democracy. So that's why we're here. Don't be nervous when you see that happening. And, you know, after all of this, we go back in the back and have fun. And, we love Liberia. That's why we're here. So tonight, there's a lot of things going on in the country that you all know. but we don't have the time, the luxury of time to discuss everything. So we just sometimes pick in, the ones that catch our heart to talk about during the time where we are on here. So today, we have like the video you were just watching. We have the representative from district number, what is the number? Bond County, district number what 3 or something. Please don't quote me. I'm trying to find the number of that district to pull up here, but that's Representative James Collette. Uh, we're gonna talk about his speech that he was just giving. Kind of, I don't know if it was speech or if it was again, Liberia we say blasting at the church. Um, which is a little interesting, but we will talk about that today too. And we will also be talking about the sad news that, you know, in the country about a Liberian diaspora Liberian that went back home who was, murdered in her home. Sadly, murder, burned. We are going to also talk about what the statement the police put out on that also. And yeah, then we're also going to talk about President Boycott suspending um, one of his officials for, let me see my notes. Bear with me. Let me get to it. Bear with me. One of his officials for, bear with me. Let me get to it. Bear with me. Suspension. That's what we're always hearing about, which is a good thing for the government to do when they find out, wrongdoing. Always hearing about, which is a good thing for the government to do when they find out, Okay, so suspending the superintendent of the Morovia Consolidated School System. So that immediate, yeah, we're gonna talk about that suspension and we're gonna talk about why he was suspended and what's next for him after the suspension. I know people always talk about that's all we see happening. The president just suspends and we don't see anything else after that. So there's something after this suspension that is written in here. So we wish and hope that it will happen and we see have a conclusion to this. That if it's imprisonment, that's what people wants to see. They don't just want to see officials, um, you know, doing bad things and just getting away with it and just get suspended and that's it. So this letter is a little different, from the rest of the ones that we, usually see. So while I wait for the rest of the guys to come on, yeah, these are the highlights on our topics for today. I seen Emmanuel in the back, but Emmanuel, your camera is not clear. So I don't know if I can bring you on like that. But first of all, I want to welcome our viewers, Emmanuel, not Emmanuel, but Francis Harris. Welcome to the show. And Fasco is a kissing court. I'm not gonna pay him no mind. He's here to distract me. He's not coming on the show, but he's here to distract me. Fasco said, "Open your eyes, man, and stop bluffing." Fasco, I'm not bluffing from your officer. Come on the show, please. I was reading. I wasn't bluffing. Come on and tell me that. But yes, we want to welcome you all, and even the ones that are not commenting that I can't see. Still welcome, welcome. Please share the show. We're on Liberia Watch News, YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, so let me start with Representative Colette Sagai. Let me start with him on this one. Let me read to you what this is about. It's a bit long, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing because I don't want us to be bored with the story. But I find it interesting that is representative for giving a donation, and he was behind this donation. This donation remind me of a person we asked for a donation to the Doe's family. I think it's a little uh, uh um the speech was a little too harsh for me to, and I'm pretty sure every one of you who have listened to it, you feel the same way too. So let's read this. Oh, it says the headline says church leaders in Bond County reject Representative Colette's campaign promise. So this was a campaign promise. So, so the officials of the National Freedom Pentecostal Church Kokoya Road chapter have shamed the House of Representatives chairperson on rule, order, and administration, James M. Colette, for allegedly insulting the church leadership in Wanga, Bond County. I don't know, insults. Yeah, I guess the way his speech will go, when they consider that to be insults. So, speaking to the church leader, blasting at them before giving them a gift, it seems to be, why couldn't the representative just, even if he was being pressured about this campaign promise, that maybe they felt like he was not fulfilling his promise and he was being reminded over and over, and he got a little bit in his feelings and he decided to give this long speech and then got people upset. But let me read into it a little bit. On June 15, 2025, Representative Colette dissented on the leadership of the National Freedom Pentecostal Church in Bond County after repeatedly being reminded of his campaign promise made by some members of the church during the 2023 general election. The Bond County Electoral District Number 2. There you go. District Number 2. This is the I was looking for his district. So District Number 2 lawmaker is said to have visited the National Freedom Pentecostal Church, pastored by Abel Corentin Bassett. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, and asked for his support for his re-election. The pastor, on behalf of the church, accepted Colette's request thereafter. Representative Colette assured them of 50 bags of cement after the election. According to the representative, Colette, during the same campaign period, he observed the same pastor was campaigning for Victor Topa, who was also running for the same seat in the same district. Colette stated that he was disappointed that a man of God could behave in such a deceitful and ungodly manner, only to see that after obtaining his certification, the pastor complained that he had promised the church and failed to fulfill the. So this is what spiked the outrage. So, so from what I've already read here, guys, and I think you follow me. Maybe the representative did not want to fulfill this campaign promise because the pastor, after accepting his campaign promise and said that he was going to support it, he also noticed that the pastor was campaigning for another person, for that same seat. So the representative felt like he didn't have to. After he won, he did not have to fulfill this promise because he the pastor did not keep his side of the bargain. So he felt like he didn't have to do this. So that's why he went on the rim. I'm pretty sure. So he was describing and in this video, like we all just watched, the representative was going off on the church leadership, saying that I did this and I did that. You didn't mention it, but you for a 50 bag of cement, I'm being pressured and being like distancing itself from him and everything that he was saying in the video. And then he also stated like, oh, if someone promised you something and they didn't do it, you're supposed to go and pray for them to fulfill their promise, not call away from them, not have problem with them, and distance yourself from them. But yeah, I hope when the guys come, we'll dive deeper into this, because this is, I think, from what I've already read here, I see the representative has he felt like he didn't have to fulfill this promise because the pastor did not keep his side. But if he won this seat, don't you think the church members voted for him and that he should have fulfilled this promise without them coming after him to remind him? The fact that he won the position, he won the seat, he was overwhelmingly voted, for in that district. Unless in that area where the church were, or in a prison, if there was a prison in that church, if he didn't win it, then maybe I can see why he's upset. But 1 second, let me get But if that wasn't the case, but either way, I would think that a representative would just, because it's a church, he promised a church, and I would think that he would just fulfill his promise regardless of if the pastor was supporting someone else. The fact that he won his seat, I think I would have kept my promise, and I wouldn't have done it the way he went ahead doing it, blasting at them, and I think they felt some type of way. That's why they rejected this. But either way, we will talk more about it. But my concern mostly is about this sad news with this lady who was found dead in her home. It's kind of scary and it's sad as well. People come in the Western world to better themselves, have a better life, build their homes, and back home they love that country. They want to go back. They want to settle and help develop and do some businesses, right? Every time we want jobs, we want investors, we want this, guys. I think Liberian themselves, diasporans, Liberians, they have plans to do these things. That they don't. It doesn't have to be like big investors to come. When you see people coming like this, I think these are some of the plans that they have to come to Liberia to do. But when you hear something like this, it's kind of a setback, and it's sad. It is not encouraging at all, and I think this is really sad. And we need to talk about it and kind of like encourage our people if they have any news. Like the police is urging people to call you in case you have any information on this case. It's really sad, and it's something that I hope and pray that the police will really take this case seriously, investigate, and bring whoever that is responsible to book. This cannot be happening in our country. People want to scare people off. They want to keep people away, and this is sad. You cannot scare everybody away. People who have the habit of doing these things, yeah, they have to be taken off the streets. Security. That's what some of us always talk about. Security in the country is very important. I don't know. This story might seem like some kind of, that's what some of us always talk about. Security person, people that know her, or something that went wrong with some family members or somebody she knew. But it's still is sad, and we really have to talk to our lawmakers. I mean, our police to really do something about this because it's very, very sad. So thank you, Formula, for coming on to rescue me. Rescue soldier.
Rescue Yellow Machine looking for a rescue son.
Rescue soldier, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, my friend and brother, Wilson Johnson, and man is here.
Wilson is always here, but he's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, he
Wilson's
be asking for me all the time. Wilson I won't come because he knows. Anyway, thank you for
Yes, one more guy.
thank you for the audience, and it's a pleasure to be on here. I had some sticky issue to take care of. Nelson had to call me. Somebody have to call me to come on. So my wife said, "Okay, good night." I said, "All right, let me come and do the Liberian people business."
Oh, Karen will apologize.
Yeah.
We apologize, Karen. You need to take you need to take a seat right next to this guy and come on one day too. So you can talk about Liberia.
Oh yeah, she live in Bomi County over there, so she know about Manaseli. She met Manaseli before, so when she was in the Peace Corps, so she's open with some part of Liberia. She know a little bit of Liberian politics because I follow it to the length and breadth. So sometimes she be like, "Can you off your phone for a minute? I want to grab some sleep." I said, "Damn, the politics." Well, anyways, yeah.
So I was just touching base on stories that I don't know if you heard me from the back or if you heard about these stories today. Well, with the Representative James Colette in the church from Boncandy. Did you?
No, I didn't follow that story today, so just bring me up to speed.
Okay, so let me see if the video is here to play.
I getting a feedback, like I hearing you saying something like feedback coming from your end. I don't know what or something else on. Or...
Can you still hear it?
No, it's gone.
Okay. So I think that was something.
Oh yeah, my Ruth Goba, she's a Haitian American. She's an American, but her people from Haiti, but she prefer to be called Haitian American. But she worked in Liberia as a United States Peace Corps. So she was at the clinic in Zodi, the town that you pass by before going to Jejua, where you have Manaseli town. So I became a regular visitor of Bomi County when she was in Liberia. So she was in Zodi. She was among the Gola people.
Okay. There it is.
Campaign against her because the argument is we made a commitment of 50 days of swimming, we did not provide it. I come back to say to you people, God is a God that never fails. You doubted me or coming here, but I'm grateful that God was able to use me as a tool to defeat not only you, but those that you use to campaign against us. Man's plan is different from God's plan. Your plan was the 50 days of Smith did not come. It's the end. You forgot the business money that was given by me. You forgot when I took you to Obukata to provide 600 United for this church. You forgot when we visited you up, the 25,000 the David Smith gave. You forgot about it only because of 50 days of Smith. But I'm grateful to God that God allowed me to fulfill my promise. Sometimes we make promises. It is difficult to fulfill because life as a whole has challenges. I pass by to let you know, if someone promised you not being able to fulfill that promise, pray for that person. God will enable them to fulfill their promise. But it is not because of the failure of the person to fulfill the promise, then you turn against the person become an enemy. We were all here. The person you're campaigning for because of 50 days of cement, they were in 1,000 naira for one war in more than 10,000 plus votes. That is the wonder of God. That is the wonder of God. To do God's work, it is not by an instant. It is a process. That's why I said to you, sometimes you wonder because it is challenging to leave from a refugee camp and come to minister the word of God. I know it's a process some people are still thinking about. Some of us, 1999, Grace Baptist, from there to do the before a lawmaker, it is God's word. That's why I said to you, always let your word prevail in my life, not my word. Because sometimes if we want our word to prevail, Joshua Solomon has said to me, whenever you want your word to prevail over God's word, God will allow your word to prevail over his word. But at the end, it will be bitter. At the end, you will regret it. Let God's word prevail in your life. If you want to fight God, fine. He might give you the victory that you want. But at the end of the day, you will regret it. But it is good for us to be patient as Christians. It is not about the 50 days of cement. There's a saying that says, no matter how long, but one day you have to believe it will come. And this is an individual that you are dealt with before. This is an individual who has made impact before. Why will you doubt them this time around? For 50 for 50 days. But I'm happy to say to you, Christian brothers and sisters, we are happy that God was able to help us to fulfill our promise. So out there is a paper that contains the 50 days. Maybe when the rain ceases, you will tell the team there, where do they put it? Let us continue to worship God. Let us continue to serve God, that his name will be glorified. We are not doing these things to have multiple to do or more money, no. We are doing it because we feel that the church is the best place to give. That's my belief. The church is the best place to give. If you help to improve his word, he will also help to improve your situation. Thank you so much for listening. Let God be with us. And we say, we hope and pray that we'll have the opportunity to do a little much more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So from the is this? I mean, was all of those comment necessary? You think?
Well, the message was right, but the place, where the message was given, I have a little problem with that. But be as it may, open rebuke is better than secret love. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Open church rebuke?
Look, open rebuke is better. The message reached the owner. Nobody can tell me in that particular church that message did not reach the owner. The message reached the owner directly and sat down on her chest. And they know. Many a times, look, that's the reason why you see some of us, we look at this whole God business from a very, very different angle.
Oh boy, let's not go there.
Yeah, we look at that's the reason why I in particular look at God business from a different angle. And I know God for myself. Many at times people use the clergy, people use the churches in our religious temple for personal gain. People use it for political gain. We have seen so many people here wasting bottle of oil on people here saying they're going to win election, and in the end they can't win the election. We are seeing so many prophecy coming up that I say, oh, the mayor will we saw a video coming from, our neighboring country telling our former president, we are saying, oh, if you didn't win the election, don't waste your time. That we see the churches being used, all kind of means, people playing to get money from politicians. And then somebody may promise to you, and some part of it, I really like the message. When somebody promise you and they did not fulfill the promise, the role of a church is to pray. That's the reason why I say, brethren, don't pray for long fellow. You not pray for long life. You pray for long.
No, you can't pray for long.
You not pray for
life.
Not pray for long fellow. Pray for long life, because how long he living, the fellow will grow. So the church will always pray that whosoever that made promises to us, they should live to fulfill that promise. That the prayer point they'll be doing, but not to chastise the person, say, oh, the person lied to us, simply because he want for other person. Another person who come to that same very church, and you want to make them feel good, and you diminish your other people. Look, that's how it do. That's the hypocritical nature of our society. It's all over in the churches and all other religious area, and we have to get rid of it. Let's pray for people to succeed, and pray for other people. And when people make in fact, our country is a gullible society. If this man brings 5,000 to this church, and another person comes to that very church and get 10,000, you see very there. The same people who are saying that in that church, hearing that man who get a 5,000, will tend to say, in fact, other food man can't take all the beef from, he can't give 5,000. That friend can't give 10,000, and that will go on when another person comes to that same very church and give 50,000.
This situation was not about praying, though. It's not like ordinary.
It's about the promise he made to them during the campaign.
Listen, it's not like you to say, oh, ordinary person pledged to give something, right, and something happened in the course of that period. This was a representative that said, oh, if I win, this is what I would do. The representative is not, right? Yeah, the representative is not broke, nothing like that. But he also said that he noticed the pastor campaigning for somebody who was running against him.
Of course.
So do you think that's why he was not giving the promise that he made to the church? Because of that, he was upset, or because he didn't have it and the church have to go and pray that he received all he get it? You think the representative was being a little petty because, oh, you saying you are campaigning against me, I'm not going to do this?
Look, here's the thing. The representative, in his own wisdom, and he too is a devoted Christian, because he make the reference. The man was clear over there. It is not because, let me see, he's the best person to speak for himself. But from what I listened to, from the point I listened to, he was confronting the quote-unquote man who, if possible, said maybe that man offered prayer for him that day and say he will win. And then,
he used to go in the church for prayer.
Yeah, he went there and he offered support to him. And then he left there. The other person went there. Instead of him focusing on offering the same prayer, say, oh, I also pray that you'll win. He left it and he diminished the other man. He brought the other man up because he had favor in the other man, because he felt that the other man was going to give him more. But here's the thing. I told you the message was right, but the place he put it was different. And I don't like the place he put it. James Collier confronted his accuser. He told him, he said, look, the guy said, they say all the world got ears. The world got ears. There were people in that church that were telling James Collier exactly what the pastor was saying.
Well, when you rely on gossip and come stay in the church,
look, the man was clear. The man the man told him, the man said, there were people in the thank God he did not call him, but the message reached Uno. He said there were people in the I left the message. I like the message. It's just that the way he positioned it, but anyway he put it, I like the message. Sometimes better you rebuke some people openly so that they will know that you are man and you are not God. So if I make promise to you, if I say the man say if I win, I will do it. And if he win, he did not specify that immediately after I win and I take office, I'll do it. He said if I win, I'll do it. So he said in a representative position. He has not left the representative position, so he can even wait for the last month in his tenure and even give the 50 bag of cement. He still fulfill a promise. That's the thing. That's the thing.
I understand that, and I understand.
So in as much as he made a promise and he just turned his back and the pastor said something negative behind him, but he's a general man. He already came back, but at least he told them directly in their faces that this is the hypocritical nature of the people who serve God. There are people in the churches that behave the people who do not believe in the thing the pastor can even say on the pulpit. He almost like do what I say, but don't do what I do. Because as some of the messages there, some people stand right in front of you and preach the gospel according to John and do everything, preach all the Google thing and reach all in your body, but you go look beyond it, the thing they're doing, say you say, but that man who just from preaching to all that man years old.
Well, you're not living by what someone else does, right? That's why you like you refer put it.
The bottom line, the thing
you know God for yourself.
The man fulfilled the promise, right?
Okay, he did fulfill his promise, but
and then he
he was going to me everything that he has done for the church. Is that? I mean, the Bible says that when you. When you your right hand, your little hand should.
I told you.
You coming from doing good, all the other good you did. You go, why I did this one year. I guess this when I had to the church the other day. Why something? I mean, was all of that necessary though? That this is what.
Look, I already told you. It's also rating. They can be quoting the scripture. It is also rating. That Bible there, everybody can interpret it in a different way. It's also rating that. You open rebuke is better than secret love. It is better you rebuke some people openly, because some people, I know human nature will always be human nature. No matter how spiritual a person is, if the essence of the human part actually get in a man, it makes a man emotional and a man does things humanly. So that's exactly what happened. The pastor or whosoever, he was not specific on pastor. He did not mention pastor. He said. But there are things that we have done that you're preaching those messages. You did not include it in those messages. You did not tell people that, oh, I gave this money, I did this, and I did that. You did not mention that. But because I made one single promise, I make a promise that I'll give 50 bags of cement, and I did not do it.
That 50 bags of cement is very important for the church.
But look, that's the thing there. He felt that somebody wanted a 4G 50 bags of cement, and he felt that by utilizing the name of this man, he will give favor from the other man so that he 50 bags of cement can come quickly. And that's not how. Look, God can bless everybody differently in a different time. And some people, they have competing priorities. There are things that they have to take care of before they make some. Look, I can tell you, Amy, I can't get my rent to pay. And then somebody can tell me, say, oh, my grandma died. So I will take my rent money and go send it to you so you go bury your grandma, because you say that your grandma, the custodian of your family culture, that I want to come and listen to. So when they put me outside now, where I will be sleeping here to look for money to help other problem come up. So look, the thing was simple. The man fulfilled a promise already, but the man tried to tell them that there are times in this life you give a man a chance to prove you otherwise, because in Liberia we quick to judge people. We quick, and in fact, I even thinking said that is not the wrong place. That's the right place he put a message.
Well, all the Bible voices he was quote. Well, not Bible verse, but biblical talking that he was trying to do, like, oh, God time is the best. All of them. He was actually trying job as a pastor, like. You promised me to support me. You accepted my campaign promise. But then behind my back, you supporting this other dude. Like, what God has for you. And he's trying to tell the pastor that because you didn't support me, I still won. You know, you cannot, what God has for
Because
me.
God is bigger than all of us. Even the pastor said,
Yeah.
even the pastor know that God is bigger. You know how many pastors and lot of people here? You know how many pastors there? Look, I don't even want to go there. But
Don't go bash
yeah, I don't even want to go there. There are some pastors, they receive revelation, and that's the reason why you see today, when you find Chinese kids making watch battery, they're making other things. I don't know. People then over there, they suggesting us to extreme prayer. They say, me pray 3 o'clock in the morning. Why your friend up tall in the night making something? And you find that more people. Wait a minute, Amy, wait a minute. Amy, I keep on the show not to preach like the way a pastor can preach in your church. I'm preaching the way I understand my own Bible.
Go ahead.
And the idea where you have people subjecting our people to extreme prayer, excessive prayer, while other people who do not even believe in no prayer, they are exceeding. And the pastors are riding private jets in other countries. They're buying cars. Imagine people, the pastor riding cars and the members are all poor. The usher is told to appear to the church 3 o'clock p.m. a day before the service to clean the whole church. And the usher does not have transportation. The usher has to walk mile to come to church. And then the pastor in the end will tell the usher, say that's a service to God.
Now, Anthony, I mean, call you Anthony, sorry. Family, you kind of putting a blanket over everybody, and that's not fair.
No,
because you have.
I'm telling you that it is the issue that with the mentality our people have.
No,
the people have to be independent now.
I come in.
And there's issue where they say no God for yourself, no God for yourself. Respect the teaching of God. But the issue where people now change the entire God business now. You see people saying the thing they can do for that. They do it for. No, I don't even know, sir. But I don't want to talk about it. Let me leave it at that.
Yes, because I think it's a shame that we see pastors as God. Some of pastor is a man. Okay? I'm coming, Pamela. So everything that is written in the Bible, God said everyone. When he said thou should not fornicate, thou should not kill, thou should not steal, he didn't say, Pastor, you don't do it and the rest of the people can do it. Everybody or something about that, not just the pastors. And yes, they do have some charlatans and they do have some real men of God. So just put blanket over everybody, I think it's unfair. And this whole thing about not praying, I don't think any pastor's telling the members that just sit down and pray and put your hand between your leg and manna will fall from heaven. I don't think so. Only a charlatan would be telling people that. I don't think a real pastor would be telling you, because a real pastor would tell you that a faith without work is that we all know that you have to something. And there's the whole thing about people always trying to, compare Chinese kids and other people with African. They just they're sitting there. I mean, do we? You know what? We'll have this conversation another time. I think I should let it go, because this is a conversation I really worth having on this platform. We should, because you're not the only one who I heard say something like this, and I think we should really discuss it. To with this thing that Chinese Asian people being innovative, that kids are this, and our African kids are doing this, they're doing that, and something. We need to talk about that and make the comparison there. So, but the thing I'm seeing here is Representative. Maybe I could be wrong. But I think Representative Colette looks upset because of what had happened. The pastor promised him, and he went on his promise and started supporting someone else. That's what had his promise stolen. He didn't want to give it, and because he heard the noise, they kept reminding him and kept. But like I was saying earlier before you came on, I would have got up, even though the pastor did not support me. I would have still fulfilled that promise. That would be you sticking it to the man. You doing that, but you doing that intelligently. You don't have to go there and be yelling at them and telling them, I did this, I did that, I did that. But anyway, that's who Representative Colette is, and the promise was rejected. The 50 bag of cement was rejected. What do you say about that?
He said the church, that particular church, rejected a 50 bag of cement. Oh yeah, good. At least he fulfilled his promise. If he rejected, there are so many other churches that need that. He can take it. Look, I don't know why. If I were in that position today, I already think the very meaning. As soon as you say no, it shouldn't be that kind of story. They shouldn't keep it after feeding and they send it back. I hope that he gets said it there and then say, hey, look, carry a cement bag when I want it. God will provide for us to get out another 50 bed from somebody else. I hope that it is that he did. If not, if he kept the cement and he wait for a few days for people to make a comment before he come back and say income for a 50 bed, then that means he won't follow the cow story. And that cow story he won't follow. We're not playing no game with that cow story. So
well, maybe the representative will beg the church to accept the gift.
Not begging.
Because
I know Colette when he was at the University of Liberia. He was a student leader. I know him good. If they say they want it, we'll find somebody else that need it. There are too many people there who need that cement. And
yeah, but he didn't make that promise to too many people.
At least he fulfilled in the church review say, so we can carry it to the mosque or we can carry it to other church. There are so many churches who are there in our Bon County there. So I mean, no cause for alarm.
No, no cause for alarm. There's a reason why the church refuses. So there is a cause.
On what ground? On what ground? Because he confronted them and tell them what they were doing, that hypocritical attitude. You know how many negative and invasive things they said about Colette? You know what? You know how come they sending some member of that particular congregation were to work representing Colette? No, that face the fact now. They get face the fact. They put aside the sentiment. They get look at it from representing Colette as a politician. He's not going over there to go preach gospel according to Matthew. He went there as a politician and a son of God, and that's the reason why he missed all two. He tell them and he said, "Look, I make my promise, and I made that promise to you, to this church, and I am a representative not for one day, not for the campaign period, and you did not support me, but yet and still, what was destined by the Most High has already come to fruition. But I want us to stop there." He was cautioning them. In fact, that was cautioning. He was cautioning them. Look. If that man had rotten, some of those people got to whip them in our church. They had Christ whip some of those people and take them from in the church. Because in the church, I make it, you see some people, they get some people there with different spirit in the churches. And they got to be weeded out. Even though that a politician, but he spoke the way it was good for them, man. I mean, some people can feel hurt, but that's the truth. The truth can hurt. That's the truth. He tell them. Now, if even you're not supporting me, they say, if you're not helping a man, don't hurt him. Fine. You're not supporting the man campaign, don't go and say negative things about him. You see what I'm saying?
But those negative thing was being said after he refused to give the promise, not doing a campaign.
No, they were saying it. Amy, you know the reason why Colette came back to present
according to what I read here, that's after the campaign is when they started reminding him of something they promises made during the campaign, and I think he was
nobody saying it in the soft tone, the way he's saying it, the way he's saying it soft like that, and make it like, oh, they did it in a very quiet way. Oh, representative, this is why you promised or this, that, none. Some people, when they spin that thing, that's the country we have. Some people, when they say that one, who he promised, who say you're gonna be there, say he became representative, we can't see him again.
It could be, yeah.
That's exactly what they were saying. People who were saying more condescending things, and more unspeakable things about him, some horrifying things on his person. Some of them who have not even met him before, they said all the negative things, chastise him in the back. Yeah, all those Brutus, they call them Brutus. They always at the back to stop you. Now they didn't want. But I mean, he said he's a politician. When he met them and he told them exactly what was on his mind. And that was somebody who was speaking that mind. So, I mean, no offense. People can be in their feelings. That's their business. But he was emotional and he told them exactly, look, if somebody made promise to you next time, I bet you, Amy, for what he have done right now, next time when somebody go make promise to them, they will not come outside again and be saying nothing. The pastor said, won't go support another person now, and you know how you control yourself to go do it. You're not coming up because you know.
All right. So we're going to leave it there. Formula thing Representative Colette did the right thing. I thought he went overboard a little bit. He's not, I mean, you could called the pastor and confronted him if you think he had all the leadership, but not in service like that. Just grab the mic and thinking somebody thinks he can be get testimony, and you just go ahead.
No, Amy,
Just
that was not a regular service. Don't do
And-
that. Don't make it look like that. You want to make the man look ugly. That I've followed that
It
video.
was in it. Oh, you
It
did?
was a program that was set up for him to come and do a presentation. They were aware for his coming. Not like they were in 7, he said, "Oh, let me go buy and
okay.
go talk."
Okay.
So that's how they want to pin it. They will not say, "Oh, in our regular church service and Representative Koreka to come worship with all and this that." No. So that was not it. They were aware. They were aware that he was coming there. But because of the way he presented it now, then they go back, they're making it look like the cow story. Oh, we tell your faces because remember, no problem. There you come. We'll carry somewhere else. And they see where God can look. Let me say, God can answer people in so many different ways. They have I watch a movie and say, there's an African movie. The guy went to the shrine, and the thing was not working. And then I had his friend told him, say, "My man, the devil gets so many agents." So if the other one not working yet, try another person, go find somebody else. So the high representative could say, if they want not working yet, I want that church that I won't get that church. I only that area God can. You think that Masana over there that God go meet Moses? You making fun. We'll carry to another church. You see, I will pray for the prayer said will offer for him. He'll be heavy money that one. Heavy prayer and said that God will leave him waiting the air. He said, if you not even touch the ground.
You know, I don't want to go and make this session about Bible studies, but I'm just a little confused, right? So I'll just throw that question in there. If God told us to be nice to our fellow men, right? If you go and hurt somebody, you hurt the person intentionally, then you say, "Oh, because the person, now the only person, let me go on the other side." God is there, he's looking at you. You think he will be answering your prayer because you were on the other side to pray, anyways, let's just move on from this and get on a more serious something. I
know the heart of man. God look at the heart of man, right? And everybody who offer their own individual prayers to God, the reception is different. And that's the reason why you find some people yelling while praying and some people silently praying. While some people singing, some people giving praises, they offering a prayer through singing. So there are so many different ways you can call on Yahweh. There are so many different ways you can challenge your message to God, and God can answer people in different ways. So sometimes some people, they can be already in a dark mood. Then they still wake up with instead they say they're going to go pray to God. And there are some people who have already cleansed themselves and they go and offer that prayer to God. So in the end, God going to look at all of those seers, all of those who pray, looking at their heart. For you and I, we are the mortals. We just look at the outward appearance. Because the man dress good and wear his pointed no shoe and wearing coat suit, you think that man prayer that God going to answer. Now, the people who can dress clean and they get all the best thing on them, and you think they're standing on the pulpit that the people God going to answer that prayer. Now, the people God can answer that prayer are people who are milk, clean and pure and immaculate in heart. God know the spotless heart. That make God not look at all what appearance of men. So what that man verse in that verse, when Kola carry his thing to any other, it was sincerely, because now when Kola take it now, it's a sincere thing. He's not going to say, "Oh, this, that. I carry to another church and they see the need that, oh, okay, we need 50 because we can complete some certain project with his on our promises and we'll pray for you if you need." But hey, in as much as he giving it out to somebody who need it, it's important. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Granted, I got it. So from that, we're moving on to not to say this what we just discussed is not serious, but this one is, kind of sad news and and touching for me. So there's this lady. Anyway, let me just read what the statement from the police. The Liberia National Police is actively investigating a deeply disturbing incident that occurred on June 20th, 2025 in Bentown, Marshall Road, Margibi County. The victim, identified as Madam Sianing Go Briggs, a 45 years old Liberian Canadian and resident of Bentown, was found deceased in her room and tragically burned beyond recognition. Due to the condition of the remains, she has she has since been interred. At this time, 5 individuals have been identified as persons of interest and are under active investigation. We urge the public to remain calm and cooperative as our investigation continues. The Liberia National Police is fully committed to uncovering the truth and ensuring that justice is served. If you have any relevant information, please contact the LMP with, I wish I could put that number on the screen. But yes, family, and I'm sure you heard this news either today or yesterday. Reading this today, I was like, wow. And seeing what happened, seeing a video of the lady, I think she was dancing when she got to Liberia and something like that. It was kind of, it kind of caught my attention and it was sad for me. I mean, what is your feeling, your thought on this?
Look, I've never thought in my mind. I've never thought in my mind that such a gruesome act would ever happen in Liberia. I've never, in my entire life, after seeing the life of that woman when she was alive, and then reading out from how her end came, it broke me for a minute.
Yeah.
And this is a true work of someone who is satanic, someone who is luciferic, someone who is baphomeric. I can use all the adjective that is associated with evil. I never in my life thought that Liberians in a day and age will be able to kill and that was complete. I think they was trying to extinction they was trying to do. They tried to imagine they were trying to try to cremate her body.
I think they did.
Yeah, they burn her beyond recognition. This is very horrible and terrible to even talk about in the least, to even think that a man mortal, a man that was made in the image and likeness of God, a creature who even have done this to another person. Do you know
how people over the
painful?
years, right? They are gotten so brave. When I talk about when I was young in Liberia, it was just in the 90s. People, whenever people seen, even though it was considered war days, but still, when people saw blood or whatever, it was so scary and traumatizing for people, right? For people to be brave today, stoning people to death in the street, and being brave to go to someone's home and do like kill them in such a manner, like, do you think our people need, like, I don't know what should I call, like, do you think they are still under this should I call it post-traumatic stress or whatever of the from the war, or did this I don't know. Do you think that people, Liberians, need some kind of therapy to get them out of this demonic mindset of being so comfortable to do something like that to another human being?
I've said it over and over and again, Amy, that many of us who went through the war, the 14 years of civil unrest, And even the first and second generation after the war are one way or the other affected. And we have not gotten help. People have not healed from the tragedy that befell our nation. Because people have become so brave in that country to even cause a mayhem to a person, regardless of what their offense might be. No matter how wrong the person had wronged you. You know, there were times that people used to give the gallbladder of alligator to people, and people were dying from poisoning like that. That was okay. But in this age, people not doing that one again. People used to go send a fire tap on people. If you not like somebody, they say the fire tap.
What's
They say the Kowana in how they can call. They say they get a fire tap, they get the other tap that they want to know now. They say that fire tap. They send you that lesion on your feet. Some people will develop elephantiasis, the leg get big and bust. You know, they used to do all the traditional things. That one was okay. People were managing it. But this time around, people will physically attack you. People will pay, and talks to go and harm you because of some selfish reason. And from what I've learned, it is because of a hard-earned sweat from allegedly, from some of the stories that we read, she had a property that she built, a giant, I don't know how many properties she had, but they said because of that, she invested half of her life savings. And some people say it was entire retirement saving in building, because that's what I heard from the bloggers that carried the story. And she built that property, and today she was not only extinguished, she was raped, she was manhandled, she was beaten, and then burned.
So there's also something in the news that she had just won a case from the court when she got to Liberia. Do you think this crime, does it look like a random crime to you? Like in your thinking, or do you think it has something to do with someone setting her up to have this done to her? Because I mean, we have a lot of people moving back home. They're doing great. They're doing things there, and with this, with what we're hearing, she just won a court case, and and like you said, property, family, some family, not all families. Some families can be jealous of somebody's own success. So this, I mean, to get in her home, even though we don't know the detail of the whole case yet, whether it was broken into or whatever, but
the reason why I'm not speaking too much on this is because there is an ongoing investigation in it. And I always told people that I agree with the IG of police that there is this culture of impunity that's in Liberia.
Right.
If we do not get rid of this culture of impunity, there will be no control over corruption. There will be no control over things like this, murder. There will be no control over many things in the country. There will be no control over our economy. There will be no control over anything like security, nothing. We have to get rid of this culture of impunity that people think that they can do things and get away with it. They say, "Oh, that nurse will get come up for a few times."
I do agree with you from the
so the police
say, well, just on that one, nothing will come from out of it.
Yeah,
people always say that.
This is going to send a bad signal, and that's the reason why people gotta be very careful. Because if you do things like this to somebody who live in the diaspora, who have invested so much in their country, thinking that, I'm going to retire and come back home and live, and live a peaceful life. Because everybody think that when you come back home to your people, that's a very pleasing thing to do. You see what I'm saying? So, what this is going to signal out there it's going to make other people to think otherwise. You see
That
what I'm
was my
saying?
next question to you.
Yeah. People are going to think otherwise. People are going to be thinking, say, oh, why am I going to invest so much money in that country? If I go there, then people are going to antagonize me. People are going to want to harm me, and people want to do, all kind of things. And this can derail and can undermine, the growth and development of people, of communities, because all of us here belong to one community or the other. And it's our goal and our dreams and aspiration to go back home and do something meaningful to make an impact in our community and to be with our people. Not to be here. It's not easy to live in the diaspora. Unlike what other people think it is, it's always they just think that it's bread and butter. Yeah, it's not bread and butter, but we found peace. We found realization when we come back to our own place where nobody hassling and running after us to tell us about credit card debt, to tell us about mortgage and other things, paying all the bill here and there. You see what I'm saying? So this is what most Liberian outside think about the security of the country. You see what I'm saying? That security, especially if you live in a country that have laws and order, especially in the diaspora, where there is nothing go easily, uninvestigated. No matter what it is, if it can take 10, 20 years, they will come out to a conclusive end to find who all are the perpetrators. So we live in a country where we claim to have law and order on the books, but when it comes to the effectuation of those laws, they are not effectuated because there are some limitations. There are some people think that they can thwart the system and and do anything they able to do and get away with it. So we have to stop this culture so we can protect our own individual interest, protect the interest and the image of our country out there for our brothers who want to come home. There are so many people who want to come home, but if they kind of a case that they reach to them, you know what they're going to be thinking?
Yeah, so that was something I remember the president encouraging, diaspora and Liberians to come home, help build your country. Come home, develop your communities, your counties, your all of that, and that's why a lot of Liberians here, and I'm pretty sure in other countries too, like Canada and all of that. That's their dreams, right? Other people donate from other African countries and stuff. And if people are here planning to do it and they hear a news like this, do you think that the IG should make this case like something because of all of what we just said, you have just listed about people feeling comfortable to come home and all of that? And you think that this is one of the cases that the IG should really take seriously and work like overtime on to bring whoever done this to book to make people feel
this IG is overworking, and as I read and follow his the press release, this case is going to be investigated to a logical conclusion. And all those links, and that's the reason why they have asked people out there who have information, anything, even if you hear somebody say Lima, you should report it to the police so we can check and know who make that noise. Any movement, any strange thing you notice around you, because this is how the police build up their information and lead them to their potential suspect. Because there are other people who think that people come back from the diaspora use their capital, who have their capital domain and influence cases, and they get away with it. Look, land business, property business, people can go any length to eliminate people. Position, power, all that thing, people can go any length to eliminate people. But here's the thing. We are all Liberians. If you go to the law, and the law says you, from all that you have presented before us, we are not convinced that this is yours, or you are right, or you are wrong. And the law distinguishes. That's the reason why people go to the law. And the law say, look, this is not you. You still have an opportunity You still have an opportunity to file an appeal, or you take an exception, because the law is just based on common understanding. And if the understanding, if you don't convince the judge, you don't convince people in there that what you're saying is true, then I mean you don't have a case. So if somebody even got money today and they want a case, I've seen people who were influential, so to say. They were influential, and because of their proximity to power, they possessed things that was not, theirs. But when power changed hands, the other counterpart had the opportunity to get a very good lawyer and other things. They took an appeal and they went and they won the case. The case was reversed, and there was a reverse in the case, and they went back and they won. So look, I don't think I will have any problem with anybody if any of those things happen, because this sense of nationalism, that I love my country so much, I would not want to hurt anybody that is part of my country. We disagree, we agree, we settle it and move on, because in the end, you see, this death is inevitable. Every doors, you're going to knock on it, and on that particular time,
Absolutely.
we will answer it and we will go. And where else you going? That mansion, all that thing, all that land fighting for, you're not carrying it with you. The smallest spot that it going low for, that it going lay down, and everything you get behind, everything will be over. You not even know where you are. So I don't know why people are going to hurt people, but that's it. I mean, it's emotional, it's touching. It broke my heart when I first saw the story. I was shocked, and then my mom called me today. My mom calls every day. She calls me today, and she told me about the story. She said, "Oh, I just posted more data in my phone, and I saw what happened." And I said, "Yeah, I
It's sad.
already got a story."
It's really, really sad. It's
It's it's
sad.
it's it's, it's, it's really, really, very, very. I don't know. I wish her peace be unto her ashes, and hope she find justice, and her death will not go like that.
Yeah. We all hope that too. We hope that everything will come to a logical conclusion, that whoever committed this hideous crime, they will all be brought to the book and they will be sent to jail. And that, to set a deterrent to the others who think that once you leave Liberia, everything that you left there, all, like, it is no longer your. When you come back, then you're not supposed to, when you fight for it or whatever the case might have been. Whatever happened to her, I really hope the police can uncover it and get to the bottom of this, because these things have got to stop, and people will not be scared to go back to their countries for foolish people like this. And I think they need to be taken off the streets and out of every community. And so we move on to the next one, family. Our next story of the night, which is the suspension letter. Let me see. The president Bwaka again is at he's at it again. Let me see. So today, family, President Borga, today from the executive mansion, President Joseph Yuma Borga has suspended Mr. James A.S. Momo, superintendent of the Monrovia Consolidated School System. Stop it. With immediate effect and without pay, pending the conclusion of a full and impartial investigation into allegations of administrative and financial misconduct. The suspension follows serious report received by the Office of the President, including the unauthorized procurement of 6,500 decks and over at least chairs valued at least US $57,500. Alleged kickbacks scheme involving MCSS personnel, as highlighted in a report by the Financial Intelligence Agency of Liberia. A USD 451,150.60. Perfect key math. Contract signed on July 11, 2024 for laboratory supplies and services reportedly executed outside of established procurement procedure. Kickbacks. These allegations indicate a disturbing pattern of mismanagement and potential corruption under Superintendent Momo's leadership. In line with the government commitment to good governance, transparency, and the rule of law on the arrest agenda, the president has directed the Liberia Anti-Commission, no, Anti-Corruption Commission and relevant agents, the government entities, to conduct a thorough investigation into the matters. So, family, even though Mr. Momo is suspended, the president is asking for further investigation to bring I guess bring this to one of the prosecutors guy or something like that. Is this suspension different from the ones that we've been seeing?
Look, we want to first of all commend the president for taking action, because this issue been trending on the media. It been out since. There was not the first. There was not something that was new. This information came out ever since. But the president, who I've always considered him to be a very meticulous and systemic president, he takes his time in taking decisions. He does not bow down to yo and cho. Not everybody who be backing on some on media outlet, he just hurriedly rush there and take decision. No,
he wants facts.
Yeah, he investigates. They say a leader you can know a true leader from his size of the ear. The size of the ear is metaphorical, but it actually means that a leader should have a very large ear, so you can able to listen. A very good listening leader. He listens to the crowd of people. He listens to everything that's going on, and he takes action. He takes his time to take action. He's not he's not impulsive. That's the word. He doesn't rush to just take decision because somebody say that. Because this is exactly what other people want to happen. So you can say, oh yeah, we spoke and the president take action. The president is not your remote control. Nobody controls the president. The president is the first citizen in the country. And if anything happens in that country, the president is the first man that get the information. So people want self gratification or want to claim, oh yeah, we don't want broad news. Who broke the news? And the president took it. No. The report reached the desk of the president. When an issue of a witchcraft activity happened in the town, and they bring a CEO to determine who are involved in that witchcraft activity, the first person the CEO gave a report to is the town chief. So the first person that get first-hand information on anything that happened in the country is the president. Because the kind of information the president is clogged with, not many people in the country have that. You can get all your, I get it evidence, I can show it now. That show we on here. The show that we on here is that the president takes action. And that's the thing that I'm saying. Look, the only part now that we're going to beat on the president for, and I continue to say the United Party. The United Party has shown, has already distinguished themselves from previous administration, where people, there will be public outcry, and once that person is part of a political party, in that particular party, and where that buried, they protect you, they not do anything about it. That nurse will go up and come down. You'll find people, few boys how Francis called it, Saki boys will come up and raise unnecessary battle cry and to defend you because you're from a party. But this is the president who will not look at you because of tribal land. In fact, the more people he dealing with, the people he setting precedent on, are more people who came from even his county. Like people he setting precedent on. Not because
a lot of people are saying the president is doing selective justice. So you're saying he's setting precedents on his own, like unity party for his something. So how come people are saying that he's doing selective?
Look, the people who are saying that these are naysayers, these are the same, irrational guys who just around noise makers. They are always like that. But you see that, look, let me tell you, I'm telling you very emphatically that this president is doing more better than the younger president that we have.
Right.
He's taking action after getting reports, preliminary report, and he takes action. And then he turned them over. He turned them over to do further background. And that's he always say, without pay and cooperate with the requisite authority so that you can substantiate your claim. Go there and finish it up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So the only part now that I'm saying that we got to beat on this particular government on is the speedy manner of on how you prosecute those people, because we want for precedent to be set. We want for people to go beyond bars. We want for people, family to suffer for corruption. Then it will minimize.
So the court that we have already talked about here, the too many cases ahead of them. What should the president do to have something like you're talking about right now? Because I know a lot of people have said to decentralize, so there are a lot of courts in those counties that are not being used. So keep high profile cases in Monrovia and send the ones who are not sold something in correction or whatever, send them in those counties and have them prosecuted and use the courts in Liberia, in Monrovia for high profile or corruption cases like this. Do you think there's
people who always say that do not understand the litigation of our laws?
Okay.
Our laws do not provide for court system to be dished out. Get it? You push on your land to go sell to your brother-in-law. No. The government have the responsibility to ensure that we have people be brought to book, and the time frame. Look, I've said it over and over and again. It's not because people claim that we support President Bouaka to succeed, so they label us to be, stooges or praising of the government. No, I've said it over and over and again. My idea and my philosophy about how governance should be has already been entangled with the ideology of President Bouaka's success. I want for President Bouaka to succeed. I want this government to succeed, because if the government succeed, the Liberian people also succeed. So the issue about all having courts, I've said it on the show. The records are there. We need to have specialized court for corruption exclusively. But again, the government is pushing for this particular the TRC recommendation that we talk about the war and economic crime code. These economic crime code are specialized code that investigates economic crime, especially people who are involved into that particular issue that we have today. You turn them over there, and after getting your facts. And one thing I want us to be very careful with: in time past, successive governments have failed to win cases of this nature, because many of the government follow the wind. They follow innuendos and not value of facts. They follow what yes say, they say, they say, and everything. People just say things because there are pay agents sitting somewhere who try to undermine another person and just come up with bad propaganda against that person and so that they can get that person out, so, and then they'll push their own selfish agenda. We know that most Liberians don't do fair competition based on ideology, based on knowledge, and based on commitment. They don't compete on that. They only compete. The only competition is to tear you down, demoralize you, and so that they will think that one man's misfortune is their success. That's how Liberians do that on the competition. That competition is not based on ideas. So this president, we are hitting up on him to ensure that people who are check mark for rampant corruption, for actually stealing and misappropriation, they should not go to that court and come up and be walking around like the Larry Broplet that say, oh, the government lied against me and the government got to pay me in damages.
Because that's what will happen, right? If you have a case, and like you said, you don't just hear, the president's not just supposed to hear, oh, there's this thing going on at this ministry. And, you know, in order to win a case like that, in order to be on the right path, you can't just hear somebody like we study on Facebook or YouTube saying stuff and you just hear and just jump at it. And people, oh, the president don't want to do anything because they want to hear brother-in-law or because they want to hear this and this. You understand what I'm saying, right? You have to get all of the facts. You have to make sure the LSCC or GSC, whatever the acronyms are, do their job. That because you want them to be, to have the facts, to have all of the evidences that when they go to court, they will have a, guilty verdict instead of just going there and say, oh, you just tarnish man's reputation. It may not be true, but the way you handle the case, the way you went about it. So, and I understand what you're saying about the court something, but if we are concerned too about people doing this speedily for us to see people going to jail and all of that, and we are having crowded courts and stuff, family, why is it a bad idea about, decentralizing? I don't think it's like dishing courts cases out. Why do you see it to be there if we're calling for expediencies and stuff like that? You're muted.
Yeah, I mean, that's once the light on, those bugs be coming. They won't take me off my stuff. But look, Amy, I have the court do not base a judgment on speculation, and that's the reason why if someone is forwarded to court, that person, the government should have substantive evidence. That's what they call prima facie evidence, the evidence that prove beyond all reasonable doubt that this person is, culpable of the crime levied against them. So, the process is slow. Yes, we agree, but this is one step forward. Anti-graft institutions now in Liberia have the autonomy. Now they are working. You can see now there are cases that they are picking up and they are working on it on a timely manner, completing them and forwarding them. But before, you were not seeing it. People will not even get time for that thing. You hear people, my friends were shortlisted and then they were pressing, they were saying things for them. But we want President Bouakai and the Unity Party to go one more step forward. This is what we are saying now. We that believe in President Bouakai and in his arrest agenda for peace and prosperity. We want the president to go a step further. That's what we can do. That's all we can do. We push the president to go a step further. And that step further is, can we now make sure that people who are suspended without pay be forwarded to court? Because sometimes just a delay is just a deny. Sometimes some of those people, when it take longer time, like we saw what happened, somebody came out and say, oh, I want to be prosecuted. Oh, you say I stole the money. You say I do the one. You come out. That's how the thieves can behave. When a man go on your farm to steal from you, you not be the first to call him roll when you see you there that you in your car roll. So that how the story looking. Do the thing speedily, put that people before the court, then go there and exonerate themselves. The evidence that you already have, because I know that the ACC and or the ACC after the GSC does that work, they get the audit, they send it to ACC. ACC look into it and come up, compile all of that result for ACC to say, oh, we complete our investigation. That means they have already gathered all the evidence. They think that it is substantial enough for the government to prosecute whosoever that is involved, and then they can file it to court. And that should be on a timely manner. So let the government now speed it up speedily. If it costs for us to have a special law code for that, let the government try to do that, because people need to be prosecuted. The government have to set an example. That's what I said to you earlier. We need to set precedent. Right. Because the thing when they say because you will not know how damaging it is when you, the head of a family, that so many other people depend on you, when you are given the opportunity to serve your country, for you to go to that public sector and serve with diligence and serve with integrity, and you go there and you steal from your people, and then you are apprehended, you are disgraced, and you put behind bars, and everybody see it. They say all laser lie prostate. You never know who suffer from better egg until the first one flip over. So you will not know how many people doing this thing until one person is caught and put behind bar. And as soon as the government put the first group behind bar, you see one by one, everybody will start falling that line. Because they know now that the old man is not joking. They know that the president is very serious. They know that the institutions are working. And this thing about we shitting our thieves, people think that this is this man stole, but he's our thief. Then people want to come in our defense. It has to stop, because that's the reason why most of the time people not going anywhere in our country.
So with all of this, right? These people are working for the president. He's, appointed most of them. With his agenda, with fighting corruption, I mean, it's an open secret, right? This was on a campaign. Like, after this man has campaigned about fighting corruption and every time he's interviewed, he talked about it. And people in his own administration doing some of these things, right? Allegedly. Allegedly doing some of these things, right? You think they're testing the water, or do you think that because the same people are saying, because he's not paying attention, because they're hearing people saying these things, he's not paying attention, who's running the government, and this and that, President Walker is, everybody's just doing their own thing. You think these people are testing the water to see whether they can get away with these things, to see whether if the president will really hold them on these things, or they just, what do you think about that? Because if you know this guy to hire you, you know where he stands on these things, and then you intentionally go there and do it. What are they doing?
Look, Amy, there will be precedent set on those people, and that's why we said over and over again that the aspect about the prosecution of those people who are allegedly accused of corruption be brought to up to speed. Because if President Bouaka fails to do that, and this outcry that is going on now all over in the media that President Bouaka is associated with suspension, it is not something that he himself is taking it lightly.
But what is suspension, though? Isn't that something, suspension, you're no longer there? Isn't that something we want to see?
Suspension is always...
Did we ever see this much suspension in a previous administration when people was crying about bad things being done? And
I'm not even going to even think about the previous administration, because the previous administration, all the anti-graft institutions were not working. So just forget it. there was no suspension. Nobody going to do suspension. But this president has shown that he's showing to the Liberian people that he has the will to even take the first step to suspend people.
Right.
That's a very big step. At least people look. Let me tell you, the suspension now people seeing in Liberia, it is not suspension that when you suspend you come back. The only person who was suspended they come back so far was
the
Councillor
election.
David Ether.
The election commission.
Yeah, she's the only person who went and she came back because President Bouaka in
She got a whole oil on her head. Anointing.
President Bouaka in his wisdom went through all of the crimes. You know, people said things, this, that. Look, the president take his time to take this decision because he gave people. President Bouaka gave most of the guys a second chance. Let me tell you, most of those people who were accused, who today were that he was compared to suspending and turn them over, he gave a second chance because this nurse is not nurse that just started. It was something that was building up, and when we were coming up, I know they received communication. They received communication because look, Liberia is not like the Liberia that we knew before, that we never had access to information.
Right.
But we now live in the age of information. You see what I'm saying? We now live in the age of information. So there's going out those days that you think that you can go do things clandestinely or Nicodemously, and you think you're going to walk away with it a lot.
Right.
The particular time we live in that age of information, and in fact, everybody is security on security. Don't think that position you put in, you are so sophisticated that other people can serve in that position. Don't think that you're one they made for that position. No. There are other people who all apply for those positions. There are other people who all need were recommended for that position. And there are those people who also wishing for you not to do well. So that your negative hands or your black hands can show also they can take you from there. So when you go there to serve with your conscience, serve with a good heart, serve with integrity. And that's the reason why the president keep beating on. They say this is time for all of us to work so that our work can reflect on the Liberian people. He pleaded with them. Not many cabinet meetings now the president called. Not many now the president who can when we go for cabinet meeting, he said that one side he made Mange or the other people to run the show. But the president himself sit at the hem of the table as an elderly man, and he speak to his cabinet like a true father of the land. He said they cry. We remember one of those videos came out. He said the Liberian people are complaining too much, and he saw the president not having the president not mentioning
it was. So he is listening.
When the president came just recently, you listen to the journalist. He said we are trying to have the free flow of trade. We want to have this trade, but you come to the border. What he said the immigration people, what are they doing there? They're squeezing you. They're squeezing people. The president know about those things. He know that it's happening to the border. The news reaching him. So he said we have to face all of that now, all that thing working on, because we have to have honest people to serve in position so that the country can move in the right direction. But when you have bootleggers, you have people who are inherently corrupt, people who corruption is deeply rooted in a bloodline, generational corruption, and in fact genetic corruption. It becomes a serious environment for the country. People are so corrupt in our country that the first thing that you give a man a public position, you want to enrich himself. You want to steal.
Yes, sir.
And now they are signing contract now, and people saying, "Oh, the government signing contract." Yes, we signing contract with everybody now in the government to tell us that what you've been doing for the time you've been appointed to work in the government. Let us know exactly what you're doing, and I hope and pray that the president do his routine follow-up so people can come and give that report on what they've been doing in the position and that they've been hired to work for the Liberian people. Not to go sit down while they go play Zuma, not to go play while they go play Temple Run on the computer. After a few minutes, you clock out, you go sit down somewhere, you go drink a cold beer on credit. When the market, you say, I'll pay you when the month end. We're not here for that government again. That before, that our previous government, they were doing it. So the government was stagnated because people get know how to wear pointer, no shoe, and know the Chinese code shoe, and go into on a daily basis, go and take CP, say, oh, we'll get some small money, I'll come and pay you. and I have people think that money was all what it was because people were stealing. But this time around, the stealing is being controlled. You steal, will expose you, the media will expose you, and the president will take action. And when you move from there, don't think you're coming back general when you are suspended. And that's why the next phase of this particular thing, the president is now moving for suspension to prosecution. It's one step at a time. The suspension is the first step.
It's very welcoming. Yeah.
Showing that yes, I have the will, I have the balls to take decision and not to be coerced by somebody, because somebody can sit down on their show and say, oh, the person steal, then the person will go say, you are fired because the person said on that show that he stole. No. The president will do his due diligence. The president will listen to advisors. The president will have conferences, will speak to the people, and then he take a decision. It will take time because the president's time is not nobody else's time. Only God knows which time is the president's time, because after God are the president.
Thank you, Famila. Yeah, that's a good news that even though it was just touched on in passing about what the president said about free trade and people at the borders squeezing people. I mean, if you have people with integrity who are very, very passionate about serving their country and doing the right things, the border is one of the places that we really need people like that, because those are entry points of drugs that are coming in our countries, right? Now, those are the entry points that some of the entry the borders and stuff, not just, oh man, yeah, that low something here. Like regardless of how hungry you are, you think about it, yes, this is good money. But what happens if this amount of drugs enter this country? What would it do to the children, to the youth who are already suffering from these things? So I'm glad that the president really knows what's going on and concerning those areas, and I really hope that he'll look into that, like he said they are doing. And so from that, I seen this. I think I wanted us to do our closing and go, but you wanted us to talk about the District 7 lawmaker son.
Yeah,
we can do that.
I mean, the time is fast spent. We can keep that for tomorrow,
right?
Because that's I think it's a developing story. It came up before, but it's still developing. But it's something that's very important because there's a video I want us to play tomorrow.
Yeah, we can play for tomorrow.
We can play tomorrow before we can give that, because this is something that's very serious, and we can run with that story tomorrow. It's already out there, but we can elaborate further on it tomorrow. Hope we can have other people to join us tomorrow and we can talk on this. Yeah, but we can keep that story for tomorrow.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody want to call in to give their let's see if we give little time to people who wants to call in. If not, then we'll do our closing and get out of here. The number is 267-586-5479. 267-586-5479. Call in and make a point on the issues that we have discussed so far, and we'll be here to take your call. So from that's why we're waiting for call. Maybe we can be going to the closing as well.
What a good show we have today, and I always say it's a pleasure to be on this network to clearly articulate my views, and my views is the views of only family and family alone. It's not a view of any other person, and it's okay to disagree with family, but do not take it personal, because sometimes people get in their feelings and they mischaracterize people. But be as it may, we are here not to talk about ourselves, about accomplishment, about resources, but we are here to talk about what affects our country, Liberia. So I always like to give it out to those of you who stay on the show, who toil the night along with us. They say, while great men are toiling the night, weak elements are are sleeping. Yeah, so we that are up at night, that we the one God bestow the wisdom on. So we will always give the
my roof.
Yeah, so I want to always give it out for those of you
John
who,
Hina,
you
we
know, hanging
all.
out with us. My roof, you always here. Shout out to you. Shout out to my boy John Hina. John Hina, I want to
John
give a
Hina
big shout out to you. I also want to give shout out to my friend and brother. We
was
always in our comment section to attack me, but it's okay. He's my friend and brother Wilson Johnson. Yeah, he hates me because he said I always speak in a way that does not go well with him for President ex-President Weah, but that's okay.
yeah.
Johnson Wilson. I also want to give a big shout out to you. And I want to give shout out to Willett Morris. And also want to give shout, and if I'll be doing this one, I give shout out to Willett Morris, I give shout out to Manroof Guba, I give shout out um who else
Johnson.
coming here? Yeah,
Well,
coming. Let me see. I give shout out to Francis Harris. I give shout out to my man Lynn Lacroix. You
and
see,
like what
Lynn
was
Lacroix, how
here?
Lynn Lacroix can characterize me. Message formula is twisting himself le preso to defend G Square. Yeah, I give out of my ball. Jeans Lacroix, that's it, my man. Yeah, you see, that's the beauty. Wilson Johnson, yeah, going up. Give it out to who else again I can find.
Francis
I give it out to
Harris?
Dolo. Uh,
No.
who's that? I don't know how to pronounce that name. I
I
guess
think
guys
I think
sending
it said
Dolo.
no. No, see
Nah, I
no.
don't know the first one, but I give it out to Dolo. And I give it out to the most controversial.
Oh, he was just here to cause trouble.
Yeah, the most controversial. Vasco da Gama. Okay, yeah. So that's all we have. We want to say
And for all of you who are watching without commenting, we also give a shout out to you too. We're only doing
yeah.
seeing the ones who are in the comment section.
I
So
want to give shout out to myself, and I also want to give shout out to Amy because among our mother's children, we love ourselves to the best too. We can lead ourselves out too. So I give shout out to myself too, and and all my friends and fans out there. And all we can do, we ask you to please, and share the show, even if we are not live. You can still share. I always say sharing is caring. You
absolutely.
cannot pay us. We're not paying you, but once you see our stuff and you share it for other people to see it, you're also helping to the platform. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, you can follow us also on YouTube.
It's free. It's free,
It's
y'all.
also, I think it's just one button. I think here that they pin. They're not even eating your data. No data being for subscribing. No data for following. No data for sharing. Yeah, free business can share. Free business can share. So just share, like, comment, leave an emoji, and
Hold
give a
on.
thumbs
I
up.
think
And
we got a
anything.
caller here. Hold on for a minute. Hello? Oh, hold on 1 second. Hello. What's your name and where you calling from?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is John Hina, and I call you guys from Connecticut.
Oh, welcome, John.
Thank you, man. And I like you and Family. I mean, you guys are strong partisans of UP. Well, I'm not a UP partisan anyway.
I'm not a UPS either. I'm an independent, but I support the rescue mission.
Exactly. I support the president, and I think I've listened to you and Family. Man, Family is a die-hard supporter of
Yeah.
Is that right?
You're right.
This guy can attack his guys, man. He can't waste time. But you guys are doing well, man. Let's keep the criticizing government. I would like for us to keep the criticizing the government. We want them to do well, and we don't have to. Even if they are doing the best thing, let's look for the weak point and bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the good thing we can talk about. Let's talk less about the good thing, and talk more about the bad things so that they can do well. Thank you, guys, and I like the show. I always, have time to listen to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So that was our own o'clock, family.
Yeah, I mean, one is better than nothing, so it gave us hope. Yeah, I told you, in time of moral uprising, we don't need bunch of reactionary. to
Nope.
carry on our revolution. We need to convince men. So that's that is Akalari theory. So we need to convince men.
Convince,
So
committed.
committed people. So
Yeah.
we will build our own community. That's what it is. So people who believe in us, one day we're going to be talking and somebody going to listen to us and they'll say, oh, this one, we will share it. And that's how it's going to be. So we thank all of y'all who take your time to come on and to give us your thought. It inspire us. That's why sometimes when we even come from pushing our hours, how we always say, with the tiredness, we still come up. Once it's about Liberia, it become our national duty, and we just come up here and we still contribute one way or the other. So it is all part of the nation building. It's all about uplifting the spirit of our people and to push Liberia to the Sunday path of prosperity and success. So I mean, you can call me Unity Parisian, no problem for me. I'm a staunch supporter of President Boubacar's success. So anything that come after that, we can discuss it. Just how Tuma Father say, when you meet me on the other side, we'll discuss it for another day. But for right now, let's discuss the success of President Boubacar. Thank you very much.
So thank you, you guys. Thank you. Like Pamela already said, share the show, and we will come here again tomorrow, God's willing, to talk about Liberia. And again, like I said, I'll continue to apologize. I know some of our Liberia listeners, we're coming too late from on that. So that's why they're falling asleep on us. So we gotta work on that, and we promise we will be working on that. Transition is always tough.
Guess who's
And
showing face?
we're saying a lot about now. So
They
yeah.
to church late and race unnecessary song.
So we will make sure to work on that. That we'll have our Liberia panelists be on here and listen to see us. Be on here and listen. Okay, so Bida, you're coming while we are saying the grace. So what do you want to say?
My man, I just want to tell people to share. Let's share the show. That's all.
Okay.
Your share.
That fool, you don't want lead. That fool, you don't want lead. For you lead that fool when you finish the show, then you go eat. You say no. You put food before you put.
Man, just came, man. Well, you know, I'm wrong as well about pushing it out.
I tell you over.
Yeah.
But anyways, we already ended the show. So hopefully tomorrow we're gonna come early so that we can. Yeah.
Man, it was actually
with that, we say thank you and see you tomorrow. Good night, God's willing. Bye-bye.